The M3 MAX MacBook Pro 16 promises to be one of the most powerful laptops ever made. So what comes in the box and is it any good? Let's find out. Now this is a laptop that I totally purchased myself. While I was at work today, my wife actually ran to the store to pick this up. So this is one of the first M3 Maxes on the planet. I'm really excited to open this up, and it's my own, so I have no problem benchmarking this. So this specific model is the one we talked about in previous videos. It's that, you can't call any of these cheap, right? But it's the lower end base model M3 Max variant. So it's the 36 gigabytes unified memory, 1 terabyte solid state drive, M3 Max with the 14-core CPU and 30-core GPU. I'm not a graphics designer. I'm not running machine learning models that need all of that, so 30-core GPU was probably enough for me. Enough yammering though, let's crack this thing open. I cannot wait. I did get this in silver. Ooh, so nice. I love Apple. I love the packaging. I didn't get the space black version because it won't be in for a while. Here we go. Ooh, that is, I love, like, the crazy thing about MacBook Pro 16s is, yes, it's a big laptop, right? It's a 16-inch laptop, but for the power you get, it's not that big, right? There are gigantic gaming laptops. There are 15, 14-inch laptops that are about that same size. So it's really nice. I know I'm gushing. I'm kind of a big fan. It is a gorgeous laptop. In the box, we get the USB-C MagSafe cable. This may or may not come out of there. We get labels, but I'm really kind of curious what power brick I get. Again, I didn't get a lot of customization options because this was one that was picked up at the store. This is the 140 watt USB-C power adapter. We get one plug in the back. The thing that I am curious about though is the Apple processors get more and more powerful. And yes, the bricks get bigger, but it's still only 140 watts. I'm curious when we're gaming or if we're running this thing full bore, like how well is this able to keep up? That's something we'll have to check out in the future. In the packaging, we get the MacBook Pro, how to use it, turn it on, what the different widgets and sections are. Thank you, Apple, for providing this. We get the very nice cardstock. Listen to this. The very nice cardstock stickers. I think I'm happier about the paper than the stickers themselves. I know every sticker, what, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm kind of a big fan of packaging. I don't know if you remember growing up like Nintendo games, if you remember Nintendo game boxes. All of that stuff was great. It had big manuals. Since then, I've always just been a big fan of nice packaging. I can appreciate nice packaging. Here we go. Let's open this up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very nice. The silver this year, it looks, I'll have to grab my other MacBook Pro 16 to look, but just initial impressions, it looks like it's got a little bit of starlight. If you remember the starlight color from like the MacBook Air lineup, it seems like a little creamier, I guess, is the color, but man, it's just so. We still have MacBook Pro just stamped into the bottom of the chassis. It is a solid computer. On the side, we get the USB-C ports, the MagSafe port, and the headphone jack. On the other side, unlike the cheapest chassis from the MacBook Pro 14, as we saw earlier, we do get the SD card slot, another USB-C port, and the HDMI cable. All right, let's open this up. I'm so excited. Boom. Oh, the speakers on a MacBook Pro 16 cannot be beat. And you'll see this. We're not making the same mistake from the air purifier this time around. Yeah, I'm telling you, looks, and it could be these lights, but it looks, I mean, it looks really nice. I think it looks great, but it's more starlight than it is silver. The build quality just is so good. We get the top firing speakers, the trackpad that is larger than an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Like, look at that. That is insane. The keyboard that has that very nice dark contrasted with the silver body. So good. The display, I mean, this is the best display you can get on the market, like, period. Accessibility up front, just so good. I know we've said that like 2 times now in the past few days. I will never not say that because it is very important. Inclusivity is important to me, and being able to have all this inclusivity, accessibility right up front, fantastic. We do need to connect everything like this as a standard because this is going to replace this M1 Max MacBook Pro 16, and I actually have some gaming to do on this as part of this initial impressions, which I am very excited about. But that's the main thing I really want to test about this. Yes, I already know I'm going to be able to use it for video editing. I already know it's going to use my productivity stuff fine. Do you know how I know that? The M1 Max has been running it perfectly since I got this thing. This computer has been a constant companion. It has been the best computer I've ever owned. The M2 did not excite me in any way, shape, or form. You probably noticed there weren't very many exciting videos about that chip lineup because it was kind of boring. There's two things that Apple does with these new computers that just does not make any sense to me. One, it's on the standard processors, you can only use one external display. Like, I do not get that, and I really wish they would stop doing it. And two, we got all this space. Give us Face ID. Like, I don't understand why those two things still exist. All right, the display is gorgeous. We're not going to dive too far into this because we already did it on the M3 standard unboxing. Like, there's no differences physically between the two lineups. We've got it all set up, but let's go do the exciting part. Let's go check out some games. All right, I'll see you over in the office in a second. Okay, and we're back. We took a little time. We set everything up, and now let's try some gaming on the new M3 MAX MacBook Pro 16. As you can see, I've got my beloved World of Warcraft. So let's go ahead and get our daily dungeon out of the way and see what's going on. Now, the thing that I want you to understand is I've currently got World of Warcraft Classic set to Ultra, which, yes, it's a 15-year-old game. What's most interesting to me is running the game, and I've also got Activity Monitor going, and I'm having the computer record the screen at the same time while I've got like Discord and other applications up in the background. So what's most important to me is not whether this can handle it, but how well it can handle it with all of this other crazy stuff. You'll notice we've got the frames per second right here at the bottom. The 60 hertz, yes, the new processors can push more than that. However, the dock that I'm currently using can only support 4K 60, so 60 frames per second is the fastest we're gonna get. So let's see how some daily dungeons go. I'm excited to, again, I'm so excited to see how this works out. Because it's not that my M1 Max was slow, but it was, now that I set up a second monitor and I started having more things open at the same time, it was starting to show its age. Okay, lots of particle effects going out, and it's holding at 60 frames. And we haven't even bumped up on the performance. And yes, Resto Shaman makes healing these kind of dungeons super easy. This warrior's not very geared, and he ran way ahead of me, so he might die by the time I get there. Another big set of particle effects. No, nothing really. I mean, it's not budging. It's holding 60 pretty well, and we're still not even taxing. Like, I don't even hear the fans. I don't even hear the fans of the MacBook, which I did hear the fans of my M1 Max quite often when playing games, especially during big stuff like this. By the time you get in ICC gear, you're basically a machine gun of chain heals. Like, look at currently our CPU load is like 6%. Well, that's 11%. I'm sorry. I was looking at just the user. The system and the user together is about 11%. 88% of the CPU is not being touched right now. And I wonder if that has to do with, and we'll have to wait for somebody that does deep dives on the actual tech itself. I wonder if that has anything to do with that dynamic caching that Apple was talking about, where the memory is kind of like always just waiting. So your processor should be able to more efficiently use the memory on hand to execute programs. And I wonder if we're seeing that like in practice right now, because we're not using much at all. How's the memory? We're using about 23 gigabytes of the memory, so Resto Shaman, so good. This would have sucked a lot on my Disk Priest. Like Resto Shaman, we don't get enough street cred. Normally when that last monster like kind of blows up, all of those particle effects really slow down my computer. Again, it didn't budge. Didn't budge. Very impressed. Okay, that went really well. I think my World of Warcrafting is going to be so much easier and so much smoother here with the M3 MAX MacBook Pro 16. So playing an old game, that's not a big deal, right? But a game that I have really wanted to try, and is pretty new, and it's on MacBook, is a game called Lies of P, which is supposed to be like a dark reimagining of Pinocchio. So I actually turned this on, and as you can see, game mode is one of the new things with the latest Mac OS, where the computer will prioritize the video game you're playing to give it the most performance. And this time around, since this is a cutting-edge video game, I want to see how does the computer react to this compared to that much older game, right? And you do need a controller for this, so I have my PlayStation 5 controller paired to my MacBook, so we can actually be like console gamers on the computer. You see me talk about these in accessory videos all the time, like real controllers, now that they can pair, both this and Xbox controllers, compare with like MacBooks or Windows laptops, like this is a really compelling way to play games. Okay, and this is a gaming monitor. This is an Ultra Gear gaming monitor. So we should be able to take advantage of all the high-tech display stuff that the MacBook is pushing, minus the frame rates, right? I have to invert the vertical camera because I grew up in a Halo time where now I can't play games otherwise. I can hear you that you are an unskippable cutscene. I'm not seeing any slowdowns or anything like that. Looks great. And the system is still only what it was for World of Warcraft, so it's not like pushing too hard. This is a very Bloodborne start. It's not, we've been gaming for a minute now, and it's warm, but it's not like overly hot. Like if I was gaming on one of my Windows computers, it would not be as quiet. Not hearing the fans either. Like, that's something I would expect to hear playing a modern game. I'm legitimately impressed by that. Yes, things that are not optimized for Apple processors will probably not work as well. Okay, now we're moving a little faster. So it's Dark Souls, but Pinocchio? Okay, I can get down with that. Okay, so it's a little bit Pinocchio, it's a little bit Dark Souls, and it's a little bit Bioshock. So it's like all the things all at once. Pulse cells is what we call Estus, I guess. Oh, another guy. Oh, okay, so that is right up my alley. I will absolutely be finishing that at some point. And another note, nobody paid me to say that. Like, nobody gave me a free code for Lies of Pi. I paid for that myself. I paid full price for that myself to try it out for that little bit. But for gaming, we saw it on World of Warcraft, which is an older game, but can still be quite graphically intensive. And on a brand new game, not necessarily the specifics of its performance, but that the computer in like 30 minutes of gaming, the processor hasn't budged. The computer's warm, but not hot, and the fans haven't even turned on. So I would say if you have a game that is optimized for Apple computers, absolutely the M3 Max is a gaming monster. Initial impressions are, I'm super excited. I think this is going to make my games, my video making, everything just so much easier, so much smoother. I think the power is real. Obviously, this is initial impressions. We'll have to do some more tests over the weeks and months that we own this and that we use this. So let me know in the comments below what else you would like to see about the M3 Max MacBook Pro 16. And if you like this video, click here to see my impressions on the cheaper model of the MacBook Pro 14. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.